Hello, everybody. Welcome to round 13 of Grand Prix Omaha. We're wired for sound and ready for action. Brian David Marshall here with Ben Stark, and we are watching Andrew Elenbogen playing Red-Green Tron, already down up against it with a Monastery Swiftbeard from Sam Black, who's playing Blue-Red Delver. Sam has put himself to 17, fetch land, shock land, a pretty as standard an opening of formula as it is being 21 in Kanzatarki or Limited.
Yeah, standard start for the Tron deck too, with a star and a Tron land. He's got two Pyroclasms main, so I know he'd love to see one of those to stem the early beats. His deck looks pretty well suited to fight against this Delver deck. He's doing relics in the main, the full 4, so I think he wants to keep them off of Treasure Cruise. And he's got the two Plasms. He's got all the 3 worm coils. He's got.
So when you say relic, you mean
stones.
Relic of Progenitus?
Relic of Progenitus. You know, cast it for a colorless, sack it for a colorless, remove your opponent's graveyard, tap it, make them remove 1 card. Basically, it actually removes both graveyards, but the point would be to remove theirs so that they can't Treasure Cruise.
Right, and you also get to draw cards while you're doing that. When you do that, you get to draw a card.
If he had a Pyroclasm here, it would be pretty huge. I don't think he does. But it does look like he's moving towards assembling Tron pretty quickly this game.
And so, yep, he plays the Relic of Progenitus, activates it, says, remove a card from your graveyard.
And it's really good because Treasure Cruise is the most powerful thing going on. It's the reason for these Blue-Red Delver decks. It's the reason that this is a deck. These little creatures, they're fine. They die to removal, but then you just reload.
Right, Delver Secrets from Sam Black has flipped on a Serum Visions. Sam has been a little mana light here. He missed, it looks like, 1 land drop.
Yeah, I saw he found lands off that Scribe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he found a land off the draw card.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, you see him play the fetch land and just take the island that he scried on top. He's like, yeah, it'll be easy. I'll be able to find it.
Yeah, no reason to look through your deck unnecessarily. He knows he's fetching an island.
Yeah, yeah. And he's going to be able to attack for 5 here.
Maybe more. It's certainly a nice turn here for Sam, although I'm excited to see what Andrew's next turn is going to look like.
So when we talk about assembling the Tron, we're talking about assembling all 3 pieces, Urza's Power Plant, Urza's Mine, and Urza's Tower, which individually those pieces each give you 1 mana, but when assembled you get 7.
Right, and then obviously the deck is geared to use that 7 mana. It's got Karn Liberated, Wormcoil Engine, Oblivion Stone, and then it does even bigger things with Emrakul and Eye of Ugin to search it out.
Meanwhile, Sam just says, yeah, that's cool, take 6, Thought Scour, you know, get my Monastery Swiftspear up to 3 power this turn.
A big turn for Sam, to be sure. But I think we're seeing the Tron online here. Another thing that it powers out, All Is Dust.
Oh, wow.
Kind of a colorless Wrath.
I've also never seen that version of All Is Dust. So, you know, Andrew seems like a fairly dedicated Tron player. Looks like he's got a lot of the sweet cards. You can kind of tell, like, how well maybe a player knows their deck. Sometimes by like how deep they've gone on their
it's kind of amazing you say that. I never thought about that before. That if somebody has an all-foil deck, then they must play it a lot.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Unless they're Scott Lipp and he just borrows an all-foil deck. Treasure Cruise somehow does get to resolve here from Sam Black.
Amazing that even while removing 1 card a turn from the Relic,
yeah,
he's still able to delve a delve cast.
And he never really had an opportunity to just fire off the Relic, right? Because it costs 1 mana to do that.
Right. I actually still think Sam is in a pretty bad position, though.
Yeah, I mean, his opponent's, you know, out-manaing him and has just, you know, ridiculous spells in his deck that, you know, for 7 mana just do all sorts of, you know, things that the Delver deck just can't keep up with.
No. And right now, it looks like Andrew's considering whether to run Karn or not. The reason not to be running it would be that Sam could have Spell Pierce, I think.
Okay.
Because if you knew this Karn was going to resolve, I think he would certainly run it. You know you're in a pretty favorable position if you're Andrew, so you think, maybe I'll just develop my board rather than run this Karn.
So he plays an expedition map, goes and gets another piece.
Presumably enters his tower because he had 3 mana, whereas the power plant in the mine had 2.
So he's got 2 floating here.
And he, I think he used the mana to expedition.
Play the map and activate the map. Yeah.
Right, but he's going to be able to play that tower, so he's going to have 7 again. And then he may cast this Karn, or he may try and play around Spell Pierce and wait a turn. It kind of depends on the rest of his hand and his options. I don't think he has any other real power cards in hand, but I do think he has, say, some stars and things like that.
Yeah, plays the Karn.
And it looks like he's getting a die, which means it's in play.
There you go.
Start going to work on Sam's hand. And this is nice for Andrew, because it's going to be hard for Sam to burn him out from 12. And with Karn's ability to attack both the hand and permanents in play, it's going to be very tough for Sam to get in any damage on the board.
And it's going to be very difficult for Sam to play a creature that can realistically threaten Karn's loyalty.
Right. I think what Sam's going to look to do now, if he can, is go wide, which generally means Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that sounds like a job for Young Pyromancer.
Yeah. Because if he can play Young Pyromancer and play a couple of spells in one turn, he can end up with 2 or 3 1/1s as well as the 2/1. And then even if Karn takes care of the Pyromancer, he can still start hitting the Karn.
So has Sam done anything sweet with this deck? Or is he just playing pretty much?
No, it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Actually, 1/1s don't really attack Karn that well. Sam might have to start thinking about trying to get Andrew in burn range or something. I mean, this is not a good position for Sam.
There is Young Pyromancer. In fact, there's 2 Young Pyromancers.
It's not a great position for Sam Black to be in.
So Young Pyromancer number 1. Young Pyromancer number 2, and he's just going to pass the turn. No Gitaxian Probe.
All right, so
now what's the play here from Elenbogen?
Well, we get a good look at his hand. He's got a Karn and Oblivion Stone and some, 1-mana artifacts that basically cycle. So he's got options, to be sure. He could Karn a Young Pyromancer and then play the other Karn and then Karn the other Young Pyromancer. That's not a great thing for him.
Right.
He could play Oblivion Stone, but, I mean, it's not really that great for him either since, he loses Karn. But then he still has the other Karn, with full loyalty. So, I mean, he's probably, that line is probably better.
Right.
There's not that many permanents to kill anyway, and then the other Karn is not vulnerable. So probably, if I were him, I would probably plus the Karn that's in play, take a card from the hand, and then maybe just play Stone and blow Stone, assuming he has enough mana to do that, which I think he does, because he has all kinds of mana.
Right. And there you see the Oblivion Stone. He's like, remove a card.
Yeah, he's going with Karn away the Young Pyromancer and just have the Stone in play.
Right. He's like, in case of emergency.
There's certainly nothing wrong with this. He can afford to take 2. And this play is nice. This allows him to put a counter on his Karn, I believe. And then with the Stone, so then when he blows the Karn, the Karn won't die.
Right. So a fate counter goes on the Karn. Right.
And this makes a lot of sense. My other play is probably a little bit too conservative. If I'm Andrew, I'm kind of thinking like all I want to do is not get burnt out. But at the same time, you never know if that other Karn gets countered or something like that. You've already got a Karn in play. I mean, this line makes a lot of sense. It doesn't open the door for counter spells out of Sam because he's just going to go ahead and Stone and keep milking that Karn that's already in play and on 10 loyalty. I'm not 100% what he's doing right now. Did he just kill the Young Pyromancer with the Karn?
I believe so.
I don't think I like that. I think that the Stone can't be expected to do too much more. I think I would have kept attacking Sam's hand.
And now Vapor, right, so in response to you targeting the Young Pyromancer, I'm going to Vapor Snag the Young Pyromancer as well. I'm going to bolt you.
Yeah. This is pretty complicated, but I feel like, Andrew would have been pretty comfortable here if he plussed the Karn and then just sack the relic, get a card, and then Oblivion Stoned. I mean, that you can't respond to that by making 1/1s because they're going to die anyway. So that would have assured him a clear board with the Karn in play on a million loyalty, and he cashes in the relic, something he kind of wants anyway. Still in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
But not quite as strong, I don't think.
And that lightning bolt went to Elenbogen's face, not to the Karn, so.
Yeah, Sam's pretty much going to have to ignore Karn, and that's not an easy thing to do. But he's got to, well...
Oh, there's Wormcoil Engine.
That makes most of the conversation fairly moot. Because this would have been a question of how quickly can Andrew close out this game, staying at a burn range. But with Wormcoil's life gain, I don't think there's even much of a game. If he gains 6 even a single time, I don't think Sam's going to be able to burn him out.
Yeah, Wormcoil Engine is not a card that this deck can deal with, other than with Vapor Snag.
Yeah.
And even that is a, not a long-term proposition.
Yeah. And I mean, Andrew in a position now, he can put a counter on that Wormcoil with the stone also. And then when he blows the stone next turn, I mean, he's not going to lose really anything.
So, Fate counter on the Wormcoil Engine. And now I think Sam would love to Snapcaster Mage the Vapor Snag target, but as soon as he targets it, the Relic of Progenitus is going to eat both graveyards.
Right, and this was a nice line by Andrew. I didn't realize he had drawn Wormcoil Engine. I didn't want to take a single hit from those 1/1s because that could have put me in a double bolt range. And I'm trying to think, how can I lose this game if I'm Andrew? Right. But with the Wormcoil Engine, those can't attack and deal damage because the 6 points of life link. So you're not in any sort of realistic bolt out range.
This is Red-Green Tron that it seems, tweaked for this exact matchup.
This is why I wanted to play a deck like Scapeshift and not a deck like Blue-Red Delver. It seems like every deck is just gearing their deck to be as good as possible against Blue-Red Delver.
Right. By the way, Sam's down to a card.
Yeah.
Which is Snapcaster Mage.
Not a very effective card against Relic of the Progenitus.
No. And Andrew's been super patient with that card, just wearing Sam down with it.
Yeah. I can't really see him not stoning here. He's been very patient. It's a nice safety valve, so I get it. But I think this is the turn. I think you sack your Relic and then you stone. Ironically, I'm not really sure what's up with that Vapor Snag. It looks like it's still in his graveyard when everything else is removed.
Well, he's activated. He's made his 2 plays, and now he's waiting on Sam to respond.
Okay, but he already tapped it once this turn, the Relic, and Sam removed the Lightning Bolt, I guess, is what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He used it earlier. Sam said Lightning Bolt over Vapor Snag. Now Elenbogen saying, okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to bounce my Wormcoil Engine? I don't even think that matters.
No, he'll just replay it. I don't think Sam will have any outs. He can't treasure cruise. He's not going to have a graveyard.
That is what Sam's going to attempt to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, okay.
I mean, Sam can't take a hit from that Wormcoil, so he's certainly going to bounce that. If Andrew used all his mana and somehow doesn't have any, he's 1 mana short of recasting the Wormcoil right now. I don't know that that's the case.
Draws a card from the Relic of Progenitus.
I guess 5 for the stone, right? And 1 for the Relic, so he needs to lay a land, I think, to cast the Wormcoil. I don't think he has any floating. So if he can't recast the Wormcoil, and he can't gain that life next turn, Sam
theoretically could. I mean, Sam has no cards in hand, no cards in graveyard.
Yeah.
Can't treasure cruise, can't draw 2 bolts.
No, but he doesn't lose on the following turn or anything, so if the Wormcoil can't come back out till next turn, which I think might be the case, Sam could theoretically draw running Lightning Bolts or something of that nature.
So Oblivion Stone for Andrew.
I mean, this deck can get going. I mean, Sam could draw Thought Scour and then Cruise, and then
Sure.
end up double bolting Andrew on the following turn. I'm not saying any of this is likely.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, the
I mean,
possibility
Sam is
exists.
playing to his only outs here.
Yeah. Oh, basic island.
Yeah, he's like, island, no. Give me back my cards. Let's move it. They see Andrew like, oh yeah, got him.
Yeah. I don't know if that Karn was going to do anything. I'm not saying that Sam like can't concede in that spot because he's probably sub 1% to win the game.
Sure.
But if he plays that land, I wonder if on the following turn he could have done something like Thought Scour into Cruise into double bolt.
Oh, that's actually like some dream universe I live in.
I think that's the universe Shahar lives in.
Yeah.
Not really anyone else.
Well, no, I mean, if he was playing Shahar, Elenbogen would have just scooped there.
Oh yeah.
He'd have been like, well, obviously, you're just going to Thought Scour
Into Cruise into double bolt.
Double bolt.
He might not even have had enough mana to do that. He would still have to pay 2 for the Cruise. I think he does. It's 6 mana. I think he had 6.
There you see Josh McClain on the back table against Pascal Menard. So Josh is number 2 seed right now at 33 points here in round 13. Pascal Menard is the number 3 seed. Also playing in the feature match area, we have Scott Lipp, who remains undefeated. He is 12-0. He's the only 12-0 player in the field. And he's on the back table, and he's playing against...
Standard net deck?
Yeah, standard net deck.
Scott Lipp.
Yeah, playing against Scott Ruorda. Ruorda. Roorda. No idea how to pronounce it, I'll be honest.
I could not possibly pronounce it. What's he playing, though?
You know what? I don't know. We don't have his deck list yet, but that's our turbo match.
So we're going to get to see it.
We will get a chance to see more spaghetti and meatballs.
Well, don't tell me that. I want to be surprised. Yeah, that deck is really cool.
And so that's what we see right now in the feature match area.
What was this about spaghetti and meatballs?
Well, that's what he's been calling his makeshift deck.
Okay.
He's like, spaghetti, the Emrakul, and meatballs. So,
Primeval Titan?
Primeval Titan, he's just calling them meatballs.
I like that nickname better. I like spaghetti and meatballs.
So everybody's shuffling up. It looks like Pascal Menard and Josh are drawing up their hands. Maybe we can take a peek in on what they're doing. See if they're both keeping. Josh McClain, of course, playing Pod.
Who would have thought?
And Pascal Menard playing Blue-Red Delver with Goblin Guides.
And really kind of rising to the top of the Blue-Red Delvers, so we have to maybe give Pascal some credit here.
But it's interesting, I was assuming, I'm like, wow, 16 creatures, but he actually only has 2 young Pyromancers in the deck.
Yeah, it looks like he wasn't interested in going wide. It looks like he was interested in being aggressive.
Right, he just wanted more burn spells, and he just treating all his creatures as burn spells.
Maybe it's the right approach for the mirror. I don't know.
We've certainly seen him win a couple mirrors.
Yeah, it seems like he can maybe overwhelm his opponent's cheap removal and make an early creature stick.
Right.
And if a creature does damage a couple turns in a row, that's huge.
Sounds like our other feature match is Nick Langenhorst and Shahar Shenhar, I believe.
I know Shahar is playing Burn with Cruz. Not too familiar with Nick.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume he's playing Blue-Red Delver, but,
Just playing the odds.
Just in the dark.
That's also a good matchup for Burn, and Shahar's playing Burn, so that means it's more likely he's playing Blue-Red Delver.
So many factors coming into play.
Shahar wouldn't play against a bad matchup, come on.
So McClain, neither player actually making any, non-land additions to the board. Just the Serum Visions so far for Menard. But we're going to see a Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots is kind of sweet, right?
It's a really good magic card.
It blocks the hell out of things in the blue-red deck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can block a Monastery Swiftspear. Sure.
Yeah, it's a mana producer that can block, and you don't have to tap it to add the mana.
Yeah.
Really nice for a defensive deck. So nice that it's getting Vapor Snag.
to get that the hell out of here. So, Menard's holding a Monastery Swift Spear. So he's got to have a lot of stuff to do here, because you might want to Vapor Snagged on his turn with the Swift Spear, unless he's using all his mana this turn to do something else.
Right. Also, they generally just want to put cards in their graveyard so that they can cruise. It's really nice playing a deck where you can just kind of spew off your spells all willy-nilly, because you know you're just going to draw 3 cards as soon as you run out.
We're going to go back to our main table. Things are underway. I see a Chromatic Star and a Monastery Swift Spear.
Pretty solid starts for both players. So after sideboard, I was looking at Andrew's deck, the Tron list. He's got 2 more Pyroclasms, I'm sure, are going to come in, but he's got 3 Chalice of the Voids also.
Oh, wow.
I wonder, though, if Sam will anticipate that and bring in some artifact kill. Because Sam has 2 Smash to Smithereens in his sideboard, as well as 2 Blood Moons that I'm sure he brought in. And
it seems almost inconceivable that Sam would not have brought those cards in.
yeah, and he's also got a Negate and a Remand that I think are pretty good in this matchup. 2 Spell Pierce that are not quite as reliable, but solid, and 1 Deprive. So Sam's got a lot of hard counters, or hard-ish counters, Deprive, Remand, and Negate, that are pretty good in matchups like this. I'm pretty confident he'll bring in. And then there's the old Smashes and Spell Pierces.
All right, what do you got, says Sam Black, Gitaxian Probe. Well, I do indeed have a Chalice of the Void, and I am going to play it next turn.
Yeah, and All His Dust is really good against the Blood Moon plan. Even though it costs 7, you know, if you're not under any pressure, you can just keep searching out lands. Eventually, maybe you can kill it, end all permanents, and get back online. Otherwise, the Blood Moon's just completely shutting you out of the game. I mean, you have, I guess you have Wormcoil that costs 6 too. I guess you can just cast things. It's kind of interesting. I guess there's nothing actually good against the Blood Moon plan. Kind of thinking out loud here, trying to see, because I mean, if you're a Tron player, you know Blood Moon is one of your scariest cards, one of the things that you least want to see. So you must have some plans for it.
So Chromatic Star gets sacked. Green for Ancient Stirrings.
It looks like Andrew also has Nature's Claims in his sideboard. I wonder if he would bring those in or not.
Plays a Power Plant.
Well, we see a Smash to Smithereens in Sam's hand, so he is ready for the Chalices.
So there's a Swift Spear. So Young Pyromancer, two power Swift Spears, attack for 6 this turn. There's a Blood Moon I just saw. The telltale white border of the Blood Moon. He just pushes that though.
Well, he doesn't have land 3.
Okay.
So I don't think he wants to draw Blood Moon, not be able to cast it. Although I don't know how much I actually love this play, because Sam basically knows he's going to win this game if Andrew doesn't deal with the board. And Andrew can certainly do that. There's All His Dust and there's Pyroclasm.
Right.
But if those creatures all go to the yard, then Sam's going to be able to cast that Treasure Cruise. So I might have left Blood Moon on top for the following turn. I'm not really sure on that.
So and then the Elenbogen completes the Tron and immediately, you know, turns everything back to dust. Shows him the Emrakul, the Chalice of the Void. He's close to being able to play the Chalice on 3 for the Blood Moon. But actually, he just can.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that. He doesn't know that Sam has the Blood Moon. Yeah.
It is basically the worst thing that could happen to him at this point.
Yeah. He's got a lot of lands, you know. A lot of the cards in his deck, they're expensive 6-7, but, you know, you can cast them. He's under no pressure at the moment.
See, Sam is holding a Smash to Smithereens. He's about to Treasure Cruise.
I think most likely we'll see the Chalice for 1, but Chalice for 2 would be interesting because it prevents Sam from smashing it.
first chalice for 2, the second chalice for 1.
That would be a nice line. Andrew only has the 1 chalice, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, only 1 in hand.
You don't want to do that.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
Oh, the first chalice would counter the second chalice. So chalice's converted mana cost is basically whatever you paid for it.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you play a chalice for 1, that's converted mana cost 2. When you're casting it, chalice for 2 would have converted mana cost 4. It's pretty interesting. You don't see the old XX casting cost that often.
Okay, Serum Visions for Sam Black.
Found a Delver. That's pretty much exactly what we wanted to find. A nice creature you can cast this turn.
And sets things up for his upkeep.
Yep. Whereas Andrew's just working towards Emrakul. Frankly, he's not that far. Maybe a couple of turns. If he keeps playing these Tron pieces that add 2 or 3 mana, he's currently on 9. What is Emrakul, 15?
Yeah. So, Thought Scout. Oh. He's going to take a fair amount this turn, though.
Yeah, that Delver draw was key for Sam.
Yeah. Smash the chalice. Attack for 3. Andrew falls to 8. Yeah, so get that the hell out of here. Andrew falls to 5. And another Serum Visions. Sam sees a young Pyromancer, puts that on top.
Sam has like a fistful of Thought Scours.
Yes. Thought Scour, Snapcaster Mage, a Vapor Snag.
Thought Scour, I think.
There's a Wormcoil Engine.
Oh, it would work, except that Sam is a Vapor Snag.
Yeah.
Not sure what Andrew's options really are.
Yeah, he just says, I'll play the Wormcoil Engine. Please don't have a Vapor Snag.
Yeah. It's not like he's choosing it over better options. I don't believe he had any other choices.
It's a young Pyromancer Vapor Snag here. Get you to 1.
It would seem like
Or do you not want to, I mean, or is this like Wrath mode? You're like, I just want to play 1, keep this 1 threat out.
yeah, I think that he can use that mana better, probably looking for counter spells with the Thought Scours and Serum Visions. I'd probably not play the young Pyromancer here. You know that Andrew doesn't have spot removal. If he's going to deal with that Delver, it's probably going to be Pyroclasm or All Is Dust.
Right.
So I don't really think there's much good reason to add the young Pyromancer to the board. Thought Scouring the opponent, because he doesn't need cards in the yard for Treasure Cruise.
Maybe for a little extra information. He's like, I want to see maybe how you sideboarded.
I think that actually could play a role at this point.
Yeah. He's like, I would just like to see a little bit more of your deck here. Nice little play from Sam Black. You see why he is, in the top 25 rankings, pro players. He's currently 11th in the world.
Yeah, Sam's a player who I think has improved his game a lot over the past couple of years. Back in the day, we always knew him as a guy who could think outside the box, very creative, not the tightest player in the world. But lately, we've seen him play extremely well over the past couple of tournaments. I remember one of the last tournaments I was in the booth for was Grand Prix Ottawa, and I believe Sam Black made top 8 there, and we watched him play 2 or 3 times, and he played extremely well.
Right. So another oh no, that's the Pyroclasm.
What is the land that Andrew has out? The non-Tron piece.
Is that a... So it looks like it's... Is that a Grove of the Burn Willows?
Could be.
Is that a promo Grove?
As you pointed out, Andrew, with all the cool versions of everything. I mean, it came into play untapped and added a red, I think.
Yeah.
So it almost, and Andrew didn't take
That's
any
the only thing
damage.
it could be.
Yeah, it almost has to be growth. I just haven't seen that version before.
Yeah, no, me neither. Okay, checking in on Pascal and Josh. Pascal's up a game. And is treasure cruising. Plays Gitaxian Probe. But Josh McClain has Birthing Pod, has Siege Rhino, and has a handful of creatures. Of course, Josh very well could be, just about dead here.
Yeah, I mean, without knowing the life tools, it's hard to say what's going on. I know Josh is usually pretty happy if he has a Birthing Pod and a Siege Rhino
yeah,
play.
absolutely. He's like, how many spells did you play?
It feels like almost no matter what the answer to that is, you're going to block. Because if it's a lot, you have to block or you're dead. And if it's a few, you're going to block to trade off with the Swift Spear. I mean, there are certainly games where you wouldn't block, involving very specific sets of spells.
Josh doesn't want to block.
Yeah.
Pretty clear he would like to not block if at all possible.
I mean, if he was at 20 and had, say, a Spell Skite and a Spike Beater in hand, maybe he wouldn't want to block. Set up the infinite combo with Archangel and Spike Beater.
He just blocks and his Siege Rhino dies. That's how many spells were cast this turn. He's just like, my Siege Rhino is just dead.
So Pascal had to play 4 spells already this turn? Wow.
We're like, how big is that? Is that a 3/4? No, it's a 5/6.
Chump blocking with a Siege Rhino. That's how the pod pros do it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that article from Josh McClain, how to chump block with Siege Rhino.
I still think this is going to be a pretty good turn for Josh. I think he's going to play Red Cap and kill the Delver.
Sure.
And then go ahead and pot it away and find Archangel soon. And then it'll come back and clip the other Delver. So, I mean, unless Pascal has something with that 1 red mana to interrupt this process, this could be a pretty nice turn for Josh to get back into this game.
So, yep, Red Cap shoots the Insectile Aberration, doesn't pay any life, pays the full 2 mana to sacrifice Murderous Red Cap, gets Shriek Maw. Shriek Maw takes out the Monastery Swift Spear, and then the Murderous Red Cap, which comes back into play, takes out the Delver Secrets.
Yeah. So
that's a huge turn for Josh McClain.
So now Josh has 2 creatures and Pascal has 0.
But, we know that Josh is low enough that he felt he needed to chump block.
Yeah, that's why I thought he might want to get Archangel so he has the life gain online for the future, but perhaps playing around Vapor Snag a little bit. He also could just have the Archangel in his hand. I see a Rebel Arc in his hand.
Now, you really just see the power of Birthing Pod there.
Birthing Pod is great. This is a matchup where Birthing Pod's not even supposed to shine because it costs life and you have to have guys alive, and you're not always able to keep your guys around because the blue-red deck is kind of the aggro deck with a lot of removal. And still, look at what the Birthing Pod just did.
He killed 3 creatures. Still didn't like lose any permanence in the process.
Yeah. And the Birthing Pod stays around to continue giving you value.
Yeah.
That's a really cool card. Pascal went from my opponent is chump blocking with his Siege Rhino to I have no creatures and I'm facing down 2 in 1 turn.
Yeah.
What a swing.
And Pascal does do a fair amount of damage to himself early in the game with his lands. So
perhaps his life total is not the highest?
Yeah, he might not be too far from dead here. It's conceivable that he's at 11.
We know he lost 3 points to the Siege Rhino as well.
Oh yeah, and the Siege Rhino. So he could be under 10 here. Probably around 11.
Well, he's got 2 Steam Vents. Maybe he shocked himself once. Maybe fetched twice. you know, we don't know his life. Taxiing probe.
Oh yeah, the taxiing probes too.
And we don't really know his life. In the dark, if I had to guess, I like 11. That sounds like a solid number.
Yeah.
Better than 10, worse than 12.
Okay, look at his. He can still just cruise. He can do whatever he wants here still. That's his graveyard still. That's not his exile. I
don't know if he has a cruise though.
No.
Looking at his hand, looks like maybe.
All right, we're ready to go back to our main match. I see a shiny expedition map in play. Like if you've gone through the trouble to foil your expedition maps,
you're really obsessing over these foils here. These cool versions and these foils.
Sam Black's going to start the game on 17. Misty Rainforest into Steam Vents. Probably a Swift Spear. No? He's going to go to 15, probe you. It's not like Andrew's going to do anything that's going to, like, you know, do a big life swing in one turn out of nowhere.
No, and clearly Sam can
and his hand is not good. Looks like he's mulliganed.
Yeah, and clearly Sam can spend his life in this matchup pretty frivolously. But here you go, a quarter of his life total gone on the first turn.
Yeah. He sees a Chromatic Sphere, another Expedition map, a Back to Nature, and a Grove of the Burn Willows.
Pretty poor hand overall.
Yeah.
He does have the ability to get the Tron going, or close to it anyway. So perhaps if he draws well, he can set it up and maybe find a Wormcoil. I'm guessing he boarded out Karn. I don't think it's too effective in this matchup. Well, sometimes when you do that, you run a Threat Light.
Sam is threatening to get a turn 3 Blood Moon in play here.
Yeah, well, we already know that Andrew has the Nature's Claim for that.
Sure.
He's got to be able to cast it, and he doesn't have a basic forest.
But he does have a Chromatic Sphere.
Right, so as long as he can preserve that Chromatic Sphere, he can deal with Blood Moon. Not the nut draw like we saw in Game 1, where he just had the natural turn 3. Well, not natural, he mapped for it, but where he had the turn 3 Tron.
Right.
He had to play a Grove here, so the earliest he can Tron is turn 4, and he doesn't, to our knowledge, have anything to do with all that Tron mana yet.
Right.
Yet being the key word there.
So Delver Secrets is the play from Sam Black. He's got a Misty Rainforest. It's conceivable he could drop himself to 12 here.
You just want to see if Sam will do all 20 to himself. This is why Shahar went with the burn deck.
Yeah.
When these decks deal this much damage to themselves, it's not that hard to burn them out. And though when you're playing against burn, you try and do less damage to yourself, of course your deck is a lot worse if you have to pay 1 for your probes and put all your Steam Vents into play tapped. So that also gives the burn deck extra time. This is interesting. Andrew kind of wants to make a Chalice for 1 because he knows it's going to be really good, but he also kind of wants to be able to Nature's Claim Blood Moon.
But he can do that at any point. He doesn't. He can just hold the Chromatic Sphere in his hand.
Yeah, but with a Chalice for 1 out, he can't Nature's Claim the Blood Moon.
Oh, correct. Yes.
If Andrew did pass the turn here, good for Andrew for identifying that.
Awkward Chalice interactions 101.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the event that he casts Nature's Claim on the Blood Moon and then plays the Chalice is going to be really good. It's still going to lock out a lot of Sam's deck. It's just about proper timing and sequencing here, which, as you've pointed out several times, due to the all foils, Andrew clearly looks like an experienced Tron player.
Yeah, so Treasure Cruise. Sam knows about the Back to Nature, so he's in no hurry to run a Blood Moon into a Grove of the Burn Willows here.
Right. So Sam with perfect information from the Gitaxian probe. Andrew playing as though he had perfect information, but he doesn't actually know Sam's hand. Nice play by Andrew. And this is all assuming Andrew didn't actually top deck a worm coil or something. Of course, if he did, then it would make perfect sense for him to take this line anyway, because he wants to just spend his 2 mana getting the tower to get the worm coil out next turn. So
Sam, so many cards in hand, he has to discard.
Well, this looks like a mistake. Once you let him discard, you can't sack your expedition map. I'm not sure exactly what was communicated.
Right. Well, it sounds like Andrew's saying, well, I want an opportunity to use my map.
And Sam's saying, well, you let me discard.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
Sam's not wrong. I mean, you know, assuming Sam didn't really use tricky language or rush him, if Sam said, hey, can I discard? I'm in discard.
Right.
And Andrew said yes, and Sam discarded, it is too late to use your map there.
Right. And you don't want to, and you gain information.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's not like, this is not playing around the kitchen table.
No.
You're like, oh yeah, you can back up.
Yeah, there's no going backwards.
Never let your opponent back up.
No, and you shouldn't. There's no going backwards. I mean, you want clean, fair play, but all you can do is communicate clearly and make sure your opponent understands what's going on.
Right.
If after that he lets you go forward.
And if there's anything, Sam is always precise.
Oh yeah, Sam is very precise.
So there's a pyroclasm. Sam's like, sure.
So I think Andrew might have about 2 mana left. Just going to run all his 1 mana cards. Can't run them post Chalice.
Just cycles a sphere into a star.
Yeah. And we can see his hand now. He hasn't found a worm coil or anything like that. He's got that Nature's Claim, the Chalice, and another Tron land, I believe. So he couldn't have spent much more mana that turn anyway. So I don't think the end of turn effect really hurt him here.
Right.
Though, of course, you would prefer to sack an end of turn.
Right. So Swift Spear gets in for 1. Hey, Andrew's still on a very healthy life total here. He's 19. 18. Delver of Secrets. Looks like a second nature. Oh no, that's a Sylvan Scrying.
Okay, which can't get a worm coil. It can get an Elenbogen. Still a ways from Emmerkling, though.
There's a worm coil engine.
Oh, well, that's what he was looking for, I think. Now he finds himself in a spot where he's not sure whether he wants to run the Chalice for 1 or 2 to protect the worm coil. There's a lot of interesting options at this point.
Okay. Chalice for 1.
It might be for 2.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if it's for 1 or 2.
And that gets deprived.
I think it was for 2, so that he could clear the way for the worm coil. Quite a game by Andrew here. And he should still run the worm coil. Sam is tapped out now. He's got nothing else better to do.
There's worm coil.
Oh, it might have been. No, was it for 1 or 2? I don't know.
I think it was for 1. I think he was worried about the Vapor Snag.
Sure.
Is it Charm?
Yeah, if he didn't tap the Grove, he spent 3, 5, 7, 9 mana, 6 for the worm coil, so it must have been a Chalice for 1.
And it leaves him his Grove of the Burn Willows open so he can float green and
Nature's Claim a Blood Moon should that happen. And if the Chalice had resolved and the worm coil resolved, he wouldn't be worried about Blood Moon. I guess if the worm coil got deprived and then Sam untapped in Blood Moon, that would have been really bad for Andrew.
So he Nature's Claims his own
worm coil
engine here
in response to Vapor Snag.
Yeah.
This is a nice play.
That's a nice play.
Yeah. Now the 3/3 lifelink and Death Touch stay in play, and he gains 4 life. If he had let that go back, he would have went from 18 to 17. He would have took a hard hit here, and that worm coil may not have been enough.
Right? He knows he doesn't have to worry about a Blood Moon here.
Yeah. Now he's pretty much cast everything he wants to cast. A Blood Moon could stop potential future threats, but it's certainly not something that Andrew's afraid of any longer.
Right. He's at 22, so he's going to drop to 19 from the Insectile Aberration.
The only thing is he's just got 3/3s now.
Right.
Sam's deck isn't great at trading with creatures, but he can stop a 3/3.
Okay, here's Sylvan Scrying.
This is where Magic gets fun.
This is going to be Elenbogen, you think?
I'm not sure that he has anything else useful to get. I think it's only Elenbogen, really.
There it is.
How close is he to Emrakul? 4, 5, 7, 10. And if you count the eye as 2, because it makes Emrakul cost 2 less, that's 12. So he's an Urza's Tower away from an Emrakul.
But Blood Moon starts to be an issue here.
Yeah, Blood Moon cuts that off completely. But we keep talking about it because it's a key card, but Andrew hasn't actually seen
Sure.
Sam's hand, so he doesn't know that Sam is a Blood Moon.
Sure, no, that's fair.
We know that Sam is a Blood
Yeah.
Moon. People at home know that Sam has a Blood Moon.
So Elenbogen says search your library for a colorless creature card and reveal it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle your library.
Oh, wow, so he can just go get Worm Coils with it.
Right, and colorless Eldrazi spells you can you cast cost 2 less.
Okay.
So it reduces your Emrakul to 13, but it also just lets you go get a Worm Coil Engine.
Right, and so if Sam does play the Blood Moon to shut off the Emrakul, Andrew can just get Worm Coil. In fact, either way, Andrew will probably just get Worm Coil, because even though he's only one Urza's Tower away from Blood Moon, he doesn't have an Urza's Tower in his hand. Whereas Worm Coil is still pretty good.
Right. So, is it Charm to dig 2 cards deeper for Sam Black?
Yeah, this is a scary position for Sam now. He has to face a never-ending barrage of Worm Coils, and he doesn't have Andrew under much pressure. Just 3 points a turn from that Delver, really.
Oh, and well, there's also another
Another
copy
Nature's
of
Claim.
Nature's Claim, yeah.
It looks like Sam's the one with all the permanents in play, but if I'm Sam here, I'm pretty nervous. I mean, Sam definitely has some good stuff going on. He's got a Snapcaster that can get back a Vapor Snag or a Deprive. He's got a Remand in hand. But he's now going to be facing a never-ending supply of Worm Coil Engines. And by never-ending supply, I mean 2 more, but as far as Worm Coil Engines are concerned, that's a never-ending supply. So how big is that Monastery Swift Spear? He's played an Is It Charm, he's played a
He's
Detection
just going to trade with the Death Touch, I think.
Well, I was wondering if he could have thrown the lifelink one too. I guess he didn't need to do that. He didn't want to lose the lifelinker.
Yep, there's a Worm Coil Engine. So Sam is sitting on a Remand.
Yeah. But he can almost cast that
I
thing
was
twice.
just going to say.
He can't yet, but he's not far.
He'll cast it twice.
He's producing 10, I believe.
Oh, well.
Did he draw a power plant? Yeah, now he can cast it twice. And now he's 1 land away from being able to cast an Emrakul.
Wow.
Any land, not even a power plant. If he draws Grove of the Burnwillows, I believe he can cast an Emrakul. If he had one, he doesn't have it in hand. It's not even impossible that he boarded it out. This isn't really the kind of matchup where you need to go over the top.
He remands the Worm Coil Engine, gets a token.
Yeah, which is nice. The Worm Coil will probably come right back down, though.
Yep. He's got 1 mana floating, I think. Yeah. Oh, no. He didn't, but yeah, he's fine. He plays the Worm Coil.
So Sam needs to find answers.
Well, he has a Snapcaster Mage, and there's a Vapor Snag. He also drew a Treasure Cruise
Oh, he drew a Treasure Cruise.
just now.
I don't see one. If he drew a Treasure Cruise, that'll power him up a lot, and he can probably work his way through this. If all he has is the Snapcaster for, well, he doesn't have to Snapcaster Vapor Snag. He can Snapcaster the Treasure Cruise,
Right.
I think. Does he have a Treasure Cruise in his yard yet?
He should, yes.
I think he cruised once way
Yeah, I think
earlier.
the first card in his yard is Treasure Cruise.
Yeah. So he can Snapcaster that Treasure
Okay, yeah,
Cruise and
yeah.
try and find answers, which is I think what he'll do, because
Yep.
I don't think Snapcaster Vapor Snag does enough here.
Yeah.
As crazy as it is, even if he bounced that Worm Coil, the 3/3 lifelink would basically fog the entire ground anyway.
Right.
So it looks like that's what he'll do. He'll Snapcaster that Treasure Cruise and see what he can find.
So Right, Delve still lets you reduce the cost,
Pretty amazing.
even though it's in your graveyard. Even though it doesn't necessarily seem
I'm not sure
intuitive.
if he's drawing a token there or what's
Well, I
going
think he
on.
was just getting a token, making
Okay.
sure.
So Sam looking for Vapor Snags for Smash to Smithereens.
Hard cast Gitaxian Probe.
Sam trying to set up a big alpha, but it's really hard to get through worm coils. I don't believe that even with Smash, I don't believe he necessarily has an attack here.
Time was called in the round.
Wow.
Here. So this is turn 0 for Sam Black.
Yeah. I believe that Sam will only attack with the Delver. Even with the Smash in hand, I don't think he really has an attack on the ground. Maybe in a turn or two.
Right. So Insectile Aberration comes in for 3, drops Andrew to 13. We see Smash to Smithereens on the Worm Coil. So 2 tokens. And then Andrew's going to fall to 10.
So Andrew looking for an All Is Dust. Oblivion Stone wouldn't be great. No, he doesn't have time for that. All Is Dust would be fantastic.
Does he has enough mana, I think, to... Can he just activate Eye of Ugin and play a Worm Coil here?
Yeah, but I think it might be better for him to just search up Emrakul if he didn't board it out. On his next turn, he can Emrakul, and then I think he can probably win from there.
Steal one of the extra turns away from Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he'll run out of time before he can actually win with Emrakul or not. Ironically, Sam has plenty of permanents to sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, he's got 7 elemental tokens.
Yeah, it's possible that Andrew even boarded out Emrakul, so I'm not even sure if that's an option for him.
Really board the 15 mana spell out against the crazy fast Elver deck.
I can really see either player winning this game.
I can also see neither player winning this game.
Yeah, that's likely too. I mean, if Sam had 2 removal for the 2 lifelink guys, he would just kill Andrew very easily.
Yes.
If he has 1 removal for one of the 3/3 lifelinks, it's very close. If he has no removal, he's not making any progress on the ground through 6 points of lifelink. Personally, I'm hoping Sam has 1 removal so that it'll be close, and I don't know whether Sam could alpha for the win or not.
Andrew is at 10.
He's got a Nature's Claim, so he can gain 4 life, killing his own guy in response to something Sam would do. And he's got 2 3/3 lifelinks, so he's at 10, but only sort of.
Yeah. Thought Scour, get another token. Draws a card.
He's got a lot of guys. I just don't really see an attack on the ground. He's got 9 plus the Monastery Swift Spear would make 10 creatures, but if 2 of them get blocked and then he gains 6, that's effectively stopping all but 2 points of damage on the ground. I mean, they're all 1/1s. He can block the 2/2 power creatures. So he blanks 6, so he gains 6, which offsets the damage from 6 of the 1/1s, and he would take a net loss of 2 on the ground. And he's still got the 3/3 Death Touch, so it would actually be a net loss of 1 on the ground.
So adds a Swift Spear.
So Sam really doesn't have any attack on the ground, I don't think. I think if Sam turned all 10 of his ground creatures, it would deal Andrew 1 extra damage after the lifelink.
So Emrakul and Pyroclasm, or Emrakul and All Is Dust, is the sequence for Andrew to win this game.
Yeah, if Andrew did not board out the 1 Emrakul, which
yeah.
No, he very well might not have because it's just a 1-of. It's not like he's got 4
Right.
Emrakuls. I think he can end of turn Nature's Claim this Blood. Well, float a green and Nature's Claim this Blood Moon, search up Emrakul and cast it. And I mean, he's certainly in a good position. I'm not even sure that Emrakul ends the game. I mean, it's good.
Blood Moon has resolved, or not yet. He's like in response to Blood Moon.
Yeah. So in response to the Blood Moon, he has to try and figure out whether he can win in the turns allotted or not.
Right.
because if he can, he's going to want to search up Emrakul if that's an option, pool a green, and then Nature's Claim the Blood Moon. If he cannot, he may search up a Wormcoil and then just want to Nature's Claim one of his own 3/3 Death Touch or something like that, just for maximum life gain. I'm not 100% sure exactly what Andrew's considering. If he gives Sam the extra 4 life, that makes it even harder for him to win in turns, but I'm not sure if that's even possible for Andrew.
So he pulls the green. Nature's Claims, but that's going to put Sam to 16.
Let's see if he goes and gets that Emrakul. Yeah, he just scrolled right past a Wormcoil, so I think he's looking for that one Emrakul.
We're going to see a hard cast Emrakul. When you play it, you get to take another turn.
And this is turn, what, 3?
This will be, he'll get turn 3 and turn 4.
And then Sam still gets turn 5.
But keep in mind that Andrew still can tutor up a Wormcoil and play a Wormcoil
on his turn.
On his turn.
Wow. Well, no, because
on his second turn, on his following turn,
which would help him to make sure he doesn't die.
Then he doesn't die,
but he wouldn't get another turn to attack.
No.
He does get 2 attacks with these 3/3/3s if he wants, but I think Sam has enough creatures to shove in front of those.
Right. No, but if he finds a Pyroclasm,
if he finds an All Is Dust, he wins.
Or
the game.
an All Is Dust.
Yeah, Pyroclasm or an All Is Dust in these 2 draw steps, then I think he wins the game. Exciting. And Andrew,
right, you don't get an extra turn in the next 5 turns if someone takes an extra turn, they just steal it from the other player.
Yeah.
Which is sweet.
Yeah. And we know he just drew a Power Plant because he just played it. So he did not find All His Dust or Pyroclasm here.
Right.
He still can find it on his next draw step and win then, because, I mean, either of those would remove all of Sam's blockers.
Okay. Hi. I've got an Emrakul. Is he thinking about maybe getting an attack in here?
Well, it would make it impossible for him to lose, but he needs to save one of the 3/3s in case he draws Pyroclasm or All His Dust to make sure he can deal Sam 16.
Right, he has to deal 16, yeah.
So it could definitely be the correct play for him to attack with both 3/3 lifelinkers here. He just needs to make sure that he holds back the 3/3 Death Touch. This way, if he draws Pyroclasm or All His Dust, he has 18. Because if he shoves all 3/3/3s, Sam may just play for the draw at this point and shove 9 power, which he has, in front of all 3 of them. And then I don't believe Andrew would have any outs.
Right.
So I think if I'm Andrew, I might send both the 3/3 lifelinkers and not the 3/3 Death Touch.
He just sends 1.
Which is fine too. I mean, accomplishes basically the same thing. It gains him some life, some extra life, but not a huge difference.
Okay. Turn 4.
Here we are. Pyroclasm or All His Dust for the win. Other than that, I believe this game will end in a draw.
Well, so we could get a little bit more of a sweat, right? We could get a Chromatic Star or a Chromatic Sphere.
Sure.
He's got a bunch of cards that cycle. He's got the Relica Progenitus.
And he didn't Windmill Slam it, and it seems pretty obvious that if he drew one of those, the game would be over, and he should know that. But he did kind of hide it very well.
Yeah. Well, he wanted
the Emrakul back in, and he could search it right back out, but I think he's out of turns.
He wanted the Annihilator on the stack.
Right. I think Andrew just locked up the draw, but
right.
Unless they have an extension we don't know about or something.
No, they don't. They're Okay, so what just happened here is Andrew attacked with his Emrakul, had an Oblivion Stone in play, put Annihilator on the stack, took out everything with Oblivion Stone. Then Sam was annihilated down to 1. He just was like, I just want to make sure you have no shot of climbing back in this
Right,
game.
which was the correct play
and
for
Sam
Andrew.
had a single land, and then the players now have a draw.
Right, and it's the correct play for Andrew because he had no ability to deal lethal there, so he locks up the draw. It's really unfortunate because with another turn or two, Andrew certainly wins that game.
Andrew was certainly going to win.
He can make that exact same play, leaving Sam with a lone land. He could just tap his Eye of Ugin in 7 and search right back up Emrakul and recast Emrakul next turn, right? Yeah. Oblivion Stone doesn't exile, does it? It just destroys?
No, it destroys,
Yeah, so I mean, he could just cast Emrakul next turn and win the game from there.
That was crazy. That deck also looks sweet
Yeah, Tron is sweet. Tron does big things.
and seemed well positioned.
Yeah.
So do we have a turbo match, or is there? So that went well over time. We're 16 minutes past the end of the round. So I think we're just gonna get ready for next round. We're gonna take a little 10-minute break, and we'll be back. We'll shuffle our seats. Ben Stark, Brian David Marshall here at Grand Prix Omaha.